the detention time and meal and rest breaks.
That's right. That's right. So, well, as you know, Desiree, a lot of people know a very significant chunk of the industry, the over-the-road drivers, line haul drivers, others are paid cents per mile.
Yeah.
And some companies will have some accessorial or additional pay for detention time over 2 hours or something like that. But in many, many instances, drivers are getting nothing. They're waiting at the docks. Sometimes it's not their fault. More often than not, it's not their fault, but they're not getting paid for that time. And of course, you got the pre-trip inspection, the post-trip inspection. That's a half hour a day. There's a lot of what we call non-productive working time. A lot of the on-duty, not driving time. And then there's the issue of rest breaks. There's federal law about rest breaks, and a lot of states have rest breaks. 16 states now have laws that say you're supposed to get a paid rest break. Among those, Washington's one of them. Oregon's Washington. California's one. So the issue has come up, well, if you're just being paid cents per mile, what about all this other working time where you're not getting paid at all? So there has been certain states now. I know some of you think California is a bad word, and honestly, having grown up in Texas, I felt that way too for many years, but in California, they have passed a law that all non-productive time, not just for truckers, but for all piece rate workers, has to be paid for separately and hourly. And some other states are following suit, and the industry really doesn't like this because...
and the industry, we mean the ATA.
And the ATA, that's right.
The ATA does not like this.
No, because the estimates vary, but everybody knows that there's 10, 20, 30 hours a week. We don't know exactly how much time, but there's a lot of time that drivers are at the docks or doing inspections or paperwork or fueling or doing things when the wheels aren't turning. And when the wheels aren't turning, you're not making any money. So any law that says you got to be paid for that time, I think is a good law. And of course, my firm has handled a lot of cases under California law and under Washington law. For retro pay, for back pay. If you think about it, if someone has an hour or two per day of unproductive time, in California you can go back 4 years. That's a lot of time that people might be owed. The ATA, of course, has fought this in the courts, and after having lost it in the courts in multiple cases, now they're fighting it in Congress to try to get this law changed. Luckily, so far, they haven't been able to get it passed into law. We call that preemption, where they're trying to basically have the state laws nullified that say that drivers have to be paid separately and hourly for their detention time, their rest period time, etc.
It's been a difficult topic for our drivers to understand, and we've had some calls to action over the last couple of years trying to get them to call their elected representatives. It is difficult to understand, but I hope that drivers, the more they hear it, the more that they understand what Craig is saying. Is it doesn't just apply to California drivers, it applies to all of us. We are never going to move forward with wages until we make sure that this does not, if the ATA likes it, it's bad for us.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of these laws that they've been trying to pass in Congress, and they tried it in 2015 with the highway bill, they tried it in 2016 with the federal aviation authorization funding bill, and they tried it in 2017 and 18 with the omnibus spending bills, and luckily it didn't make it into any of them. But what they've been trying to do is to pass a law that basically says that the trucking companies never have to pay more than the federal minimum wage. And so as long as you take the cents per mile and you average it out over all the hours worked, it's more than, I think the federal minimum wage right now is $7.50 an hour. As long as it's more than $7.50 an hour, no trucking company would have to ever pay more than that. And that is just not something that I think is a fair or a living wage. I don't think that's what drivers who have specialized skills, CDLs, etc., signed up for. And the laws that they're trying to pass in Congress don't just target California and Washington. It would basically freeze in place and prevent any progress in all of the states from having drivers be paid for all time worked. And that's the problem that we have with it. My firm has filed over 100 cases like that on behalf of truck drivers in California and Washington. And we had one against Covenant in Tennessee as well. So it's not just...
I got a check.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So you're not.
I got a surprise check. Yeah.
You're not only the founder and very important leader of the Real Women in Trucking, but you're also one of my clients.
Yeah, I didn't even know it. I was like, what is this?
Okay.
A lot of drivers, when you take the hours they actually work and you divide it, some are making less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it as a practice for a couple weeks, and it was like $5.42. I'm like, wow, because I started adding, this is how much I was at the dock. And, even though it said, I put it up that I was on my break, I wasn't really on my break. They were having me move the truck, they were having me do this and that.
Right.
My mind was on work.
Right.
And a lot of drivers have never done that simple math. Just